And we are live.
Nathan's a clown today. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's the Horse Syndicate Discourse. We are live here on Facebook. If you were watching before, you saw me talking about how much I do not like the movies we're getting ready to talk about. I said my piece, so I will say no more. No. We're here to talk about Halloween 2007, the Rob Zombie film, and its sequel from 2009. And I'm going to pose a question to everybody out there watching. First of all, a couple questions. Number one, do you like Halloween 2007? I'm not asking if you like it better than the original, because really there's no way to even put them side by side, in my opinion. I would almost assume everybody agrees. They're very different. Same subject matter, different movies, right?
Yes.
So the other question I have, so let us know, not just me, because it's more than just me tonight. Then the other question is, would you have liked to see a Halloween 3 in this universe rather than the 2018 movie? That's the question. If you don't know what the movie was supposed to be, I believe, Seth, did you write an article?
I did.
He did. He fucking wrote an article about it. This motherfucker's a wild man when it comes to Halloween fan fiction now, because that's what it is, right? It's fan fiction.
Yeah,
So,
it was a rejected script. I broke
rejected scripts. So he's got Halloween 4. Here, you run down the list that you did already.
The rejected script for Halloween 4 from Dennis Etchison, back when Carpenter was still involved. The rejected script for Halloween 6, which I'm very grateful was never made. I did the rejected script for Halloween Retribution, which was supposed to be a sequel that followed H2O and Resurrection. And then I did Halloween Returns and Halloween 3D, which was supposed to be the third movie in the Rob Zombie saga.
Yeah, Halloween 4 was the most viewed one, but they're all on the horrorsyndicate.com. Check them out. We'll repost them throughout the month, absolutely, on Facebook and our Twitter and stuff. Check out Halloween Returns also. I don't think that would have been a bad film.
I would have preferred that over the 2018 movie.
Well, there we go. 2018. So also next Tuesday, we're going to be talking about Halloween 2018 versus Halloween 2. Which one's better? Which one do you like better? It's Halloween 2 for me all day long. 1981 is the best sequel. Well, the best first sequel. Does that make sense? Anyway, tonight we've got Seth obviously with us, throwing some knowledge for Halloween down for the rejected scripts. Say hello to the nice people.
Hello, nice people. How are you?
Nice people. Nice people. Please go subscribe to the Horror Syndicate on YouTube. I'm trying to get to 500 by the end of the year. Nathan, say hello to the nice people.
Are there any here?
Hello.
Yeah, it's a Rob Zombie show, so there's gonna be a lot of heated shit.
Yeah, we want to hear from you tonight. We want to know why you do not like Halloween 2007. Does anybody talk like that? 2007. We want to know why you don't like Halloween 2 from 2009. Let us know. Comment. We'll read them. We'll get Keith to read them with blurry ass camera. Speaking of Keith, say hello to the lovely people this time. Lovely people.
Hello.
All right. You know, I got to tell you, we've been doing this show since March, and Keith says hello exactly the same way every time.
Yeah.
Hello.
Most like
Hello.
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 And Jared is here. Hello, Jared. How are you, my friend?
Okay. I'm trying to do a podcast. Sorry, we're running a little late.
Is that you screaming down the road?
Yeah.
Yes. On the highway. Come on, move!
Yes. All right. So let's talk about this. Is my first thing I want to talk about before we actually dive into the movies. I want to talk about Halloween 3D that never happened, and I want to get each of your opinions on whether or not we would have liked to see that movie. Now, we kind of asked the people in the comments to let us know if they'd like to see it. So comment and let us know. Let's start with Jared, the new arrival. What do you think? Would you like to see a Halloween 3D set in the Rob Zombie universe? It would have been a different director, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were going after Aja, weren't they?
No, they had Patrick Lucier and Todd Farmer from My Bloody Valentine 3.
Scott Montgomery. Nobody said Halloween 1980.
I remember Aja was they
Come
were
back
at
with
first
Redfield.
his name coming up because of when Piranha 3D came out. They were like, "Hey, he just made a 3D movie."
Well,
Right.
they,
Excellent.
Farmer and Lucia, they put together that script in like 7 days, and they were gonna start production really fast, and then someone at the studio was like, "Let's just slow it down a little bit." So
Yeah, 7 days. That doesn't work out. Like, did you see The Ring? So
I think I would have been all for it. I mean, I definitely went through the 3D craze phase, you know, in the theaters and stuff, and we haven't really had like a genuinely good 3D one. I mean, they did My Bloody Valentine. That like the effects didn't really look great in the theater, but I mean, with the right kind of money and the right kind of script, that I think that would have been a pretty cool project.
Okay.
I'd watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd watch it. That's no doubt. But I thank God every day. I wake up every morning. Thank God there's no Halloween 3D. Good looking out, old man.
But we
Nate, what
still
about
have
you?
Friday 3D though.
well, I mean, 3D's changed over the years. Like the way 3D movies were made back in the 80s, they would have been schlocky and it wouldn't have fit Michael Myers or the Halloween franchise. I mean, to me, that's what hurts.
Friday 3.
Part of the reason I don't like Friday 3 is because of the stupid fucking H3D stuff. So, but you know, the 3D movie, like
THS Discourse 3D.
yeah.
Yeah.
I did that for no reason in the script. It just told me to throw a yo-yo at you. But I don't know. I'd watch it anyway, but probably no. I don't. I mean, to me, when I saw, like, they all died at the end of part 2. So, what? How would you do another movie?
Which part 2 would it follow though? Because I think the endings are different in. So, like the theatrical version and the unrated version are different. Did Loomis actually die at the end? And because they both end very differently.
I forget how the theatrical ends. How's the theatrical end? Because I won't
remember.
I won't watch that again.
I'm pretty sure Lori lived at the end of
Okay.
that one.
She wore the mask at the end, right? Because I remember being
Yeah.
pissed off because that's how my movie Girl Number 3 ended. It
Yeah.
came out like 1 month after that.
Yeah, something
Like,
along those
motherfucker.
lines. I know the endings are very different for part 2. I can't remember if Loomis died or lived, but yeah. Keith, what about you?
I mean, I
You
don't get where it would go.
You would have been 6 upon its release.
I mean, I would have went and saw it though, right?
Right. Well, your grandpa would have taken you.
Well, I
for sure.
saw Rob Zombie 1 and 2 in theaters, so.
It seems right.
I can't help to think that Rob Zombie wasn't suited for Halloween. We'll get to that. Seth, you're the grandmaster of the Halloween, whatever. What about you?
Well, I would have seen it.
Would you have been there opening night though?
Oh, probably. I mean, I'm a Halloween fan. Doesn't matter. I'll be there opening weekend no matter what.
Yeah,
We'll just throw in, Seth, that there's also a werewolf in 3D with Michael Myers.
Here we go.
You know, the script wasn't too bad. It still had a lot of the Rob Zombie stuff in it, the trash talk, but there was also some really cool sequences of violence that they were setting up.
Can you throw a bone at some people? For some people, not Adam. Yeah, Adam, if you want.
Hit the nice people with bones.
Like with what?
Some of the sequences you're talking about that we.
I'm trying to
reason to
remember.
look at your articles.
Go to thehorsesyndicate.com. I'm trying to remember. There was one big sequence at the end, and where Lori even cuts off her own hand. There's a big thing with Michael, and there's a cop in it, and Michael puts like some sort of like bomb that the cop was going to use down the guy's pants, and he blows up, and there's like this.
What the fuck?
Is this
What?
You have to read it for the context, because I'm not explaining probably.
This sounds like a trauma movie.
I read the script a couple times when I did this article, which was who the fuck knows when. So
He ripped off the Monster Squad.
I know. That's what I was just thinking. Wolfman.
Michael's
no,
got
it wasn't down
nards.
his pants. No, it wasn't down his pants. It was in his stomach. Yeah, whatever. But
So then they ripped off. They ripped off the Dark Knight.
Freddy's dead, right? No, I don't know.
so anyway,
It sounds awful anyway.
it wasn't necessary to follow up with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. His story came to an end, and just let his movies be his movies. The end. And we're back at the shape now instead of the psychopath. So I'm happy with that.
So let's dig into some of these comments before we move on, if you don't mind. Comment boy.
Comment boy. Oh, where do I start?
Just to be
Well, the first
We
negative
got
comment
47.
the first negative comment I saw immediately was Chris Page garbage, both films.
What?
Alex says nice mask, Nathan.
This is my face.
That's some great effects work right there.
This is my legit face.
David
This
Gill
is-
said 2007's all right, but fuck the second one.
Okay.
With what?
The cactus.
David Gill said he likes Halloween 18 a lot more than he thought he would, but he prefers the 1981 though.
81. He fixed it.
Oh, okay.
Thanks to Scott Montgomery, he fixed it. Our new stat boy. Where's he been? We haven't had any episodes about boobs. That's why.
I enjoyed. This is from
A lot. This one.
Mark Hopkins said, I enjoy the Halloween Rob Zombie movies. I didn't care for his second Halloween movie when I first saw it, but enjoyed it on the second watch. I liked the first one right from the get-go. Sorry, I'm trying to get through all the, this person's watching.
Scott Montgomery says, has anyone seen The Day After Halloween? I've never heard of it. Is it a fan
I'm
film?
guessing that's a fan film.
That's a movie that came out in '79. That it's Italian horror film.
That's why I don't know about it.
Italian horror. I love it.
Yep. And who did that? Somebody did the music. Shit.
Did
I
they just
remember
rip
who did.
off the Goblin theme from Dawn of the Dead like Bruno Mattei does? No.
It's shit. I can't remember who did it. Who did the music? It's good music. That sounds like Friday the 13th. Before Friday the 13th. So, yeah.
Alex Ross said he grew up loving the original Halloween movies, so he was very excited for the Rob Zombie remake. He said he'll never forget seeing it in theaters. He loves both of the Halloween movies for what they are. He said he's very easily pleased when it comes to movies.
Should take a page out of Alex's book and buy a Horror Syndicate T-shirt. He bought 4 the other day.
I'm gonna send you all my movies and review them. Feel free. He's very easy to please.
Don't we already doing a good enough job for you, Nate? Come on.
Chris Hall said Halloween 3D. Your brother is a werewolf.
That piques Seth's interest. Listen, I've never heard him laugh before. I don't think.
He's talking. Audible noises coming from his mouth.
Well, that Scott Montgomery says that's a '79 Australian film. I don't know.
Australian. Okay, but it was 79. I said 70.
Yeah.
Somebody knows what you're talking about, Nathan.
Yeah. That's right. It was Australian.
Halloween 2's reason cough Daniel Harris to be good is the same as Wolfen.
Oh, yeah. It was made. It was composed. The composer was Brian May, who did Mad Max.
Oh,
That's right. Mm-hmm.
that might be one I'll have to look up.
Yeah, and the director's the guy that made like Patrick and Australian horror, mate. That's what they did. He did.
Australian horror is where it's at.
Sean Stiff said, what do the Horror Syndicate shirts look like? Question mark. Not like any hosts were wearing them.
Look, first of all, I bought Nathan a shirt to try to entice him to come on the show. Never wears it. Even though
You don't wear the shirt of the band that you're in.
Don't be that guy.
He's ashamed of us. That's why.
Yeah.
Like I'm like telling Fright Rags, hey, I don't want any of mine. Can you send me like this one and this one?
So it's like, don't wear the band of the concert you're going to.
You're right. Don't
Either
be that
way,
guy.
yeah. Like what was the Can't Hardly Wait where they had the book burger or whatever?
Yeah, the good burger.
Yeah,
Not
don't
good
wear
burger. What is it?
and they're like, "Hey, we got shirts." I ain't wearing that.
Is it Love Burger?
Love burger. It's
Don't do your own
Uh,
supply.
they have the logo. The horse
Multiple
syndicate
logos.
logo.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's like 7 or 8 of them.
Also, Discourse's logo.
Yeah, and then Nate did the Discourse logo, and then
if I
Chris
wear
Paul
it,
did the logo for us too.
if
What's
I
that?
wear it, if I wear it, will we get a lot more subscriptions, or will it just be like a fucking tree in a woods without anybody there?
I want you to pose sinfully in a Horse Syndicate Discourse T-shirt.
Can I do like one of the booth babes?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
If
Yeah,
I
you're gonna like pose against the wall while you're like pulling your shirt down.
next HorrorCon we're gonna get a table. Nate's gonna be the booth babe. He's gonna be wearing
Please
nothing but a
don't
Horse
make me
Syndicate
do
Discourse shirt.
stuff. So,
We'll get you a 3X or 4X so it'll go down past your knees.
okay.
Are
Are we gonna talk about Halloween, or are we just gonna read our comments?
Hey, we got comments rolling in. Let's
They're going
talk
to.
about.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Hey, Nate, I'd love to do a review of your movies. Really looking forward to On a Dark and Bloody Ground. Kiss ass.
Hey, thanks for the plug.
Yeah. Well, I take that back. Cut that. We'll cut that in post.
Yeah, check that out of the live feed.
All right. So 2006. Backtrack to 2006 is when I first heard about Rob Zombie doing Halloween. I was not excited from the get-go. Maybe that's why I don't like it. But like I remember thinking in 2003, after seeing House of Thousand Corpses for the first time, Rob Zombie should make a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, and then that abysmal remake came out, in my opinion. And I kept thinking he'd be perfect for a remake of that if he's going to remake anything. Then they give him Halloween. I'm like, doesn't seem like his deal. Needless to say, I saw it opening night anyway because it was Halloween. I want to support a Halloween franchise because I love it, and I did not like it. It was the very first time I left the theater angry. I even saw Halloween, the 9th one. What was it? Revelation? What is it called? I forgot.
Forget.
Resurrection?
It was Resurrection. Jesus, I forgot what it was called for a second. I even saw that in the theater. I wasn't pissed though when I left. I was like, okay, we're gonna get another one. Maybe I'll have a burnt up mask. That'll be cool. But
You forgot about Busta.
It's funny. I went to a wedding the day after Halloween was released, and everybody's like, "Oh, I heard you saw Halloween yesterday. How was it?" I was like, "Don't waste your money." I cost them money. I'm just saying. Anyway, let's get into what you guys think because you guys are gonna be way more positive. I'm just gonna sit here like this.
I had almost the same reaction when I heard it was being made because it was still new to the remake thing, and I was kind of when I heard like, how can you remake Halloween?
Yeah.
And then when they said Rob Zombie, I went, well, at least it'll be interesting. And that was really my because I really felt a lot of the remakes were bland and forgettable right away. Like there were a few of them were good. The Dawn of the Dead remake was good, and I enjoyed. I didn't hate the Texas Chainsaw remake, but I felt a lot of them. Some movies are just so tied to the filmmaker, and Carpenter's style and Dean Cundy's style and all that is so tied. The score, everything is so tied to that. I just felt anybody who doesn't have some kind of their own vision is going to produce something forgettable and won't even think about it after a year. So that's my thing. A lot of people say, as long as you get a reaction out of a movie, you've done well. And Rob Zombie, 13 years later, people are still fucking arguing about this movie.
Yeah.
So he did something right because I've been to enough conventions and seen the Halloween celebrities just with endless lines. So, Scout and all them, they have huge fan base. Tyler Mane is a huge draw. All these people.
Tyler Mane is huge.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's huge as well.
He's
And,
gigantic.
Literally.
So it does have a fan base, but it's one of those things where I totally get why people hate it because it is so foreign from horror. We talked about that. Like, I could pop in any Halloween movie outside of his movies and not feel like, is my daughter in the room? Where's my daughter?
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. But I can't put Rob Zombie's movies on and not be worried that someone's going to stroll in or my daughter's going to stroll in, because they are that abrasive, they are that ugly. Especially, we talked about the unrated cut of the first one with the rape scene, which
Yeah, unnecessary.
it's just too much. It crosses the line.
Mhm.
It doesn't. It's probably one of the most graphic scenes in any slasher film I could think of. In some ways, I can't think of any other slasher film that has a rape scene. Any period, is there? I mean, it's
That's
I
a good
can't think of
question.
one either. The only thing,
I mean,
the first thing that comes to my head is Last House on the Left, but it's not a slasher.
yeah, I mean that's a rapey movie though.
yeah,
Victor
that's not a
Crowley
slasher film.
he jams somebody's arm up somebody's vagina, it comes out of their mouth.
Does Hills Have Eyes count? Doesn't one of those have one?
Isn't that just an
But it's not like this scene.
oh.
True.
It's implied. This
Look,
scene is like
well,
blatant rape. I
and
mean,
he brings, was it Lou Temple? Is that who it is? Brings
Luke
him
Temple,
to
Courtney Gaines.
yeah, he brings him to the damn place to do that. That's the whole reason. And why'd they do it in Michael Myers' room? What the fuck? First of all, the other thing is
they're
why
sadists.
right, but why is he shit talking a 6'10" behemoth when he's
Yeah.
5 fucking five?
That,
It's
that
like,
was something I noticed in both movies. There's multiple people who are just like, "You're a big motherfucker." I'm like, "Yeah, don't fuck with him," but they're fucking with him. I'm
Yeah,
like, am
yeah.
I just
I'm
like,
Joe Grizzly, bitch.
God,
Yeah,
my
I see
favorite fucking thing out of all the movies.
that. Yeah, I see that dude anywhere. I'm like, yeah, let's go across the street.
Of course, Chris
I'm not
Hall
gonna-
chimes in with "I Spit on Your Grave" was a rape movie. Yes, he's right.
But it's not a slasher film.
No, it's a revenge film.
Yeah. So I mean, because I don't know. Yeah, the Rob Zombie talked about that on the commentary. Why Lou Temple's character does what he does. So Lou Temple is the kind of guy who gets bullied, and this is a situation where he can bully this big asshole because he doesn't ever respond.
Small man syndrome.
Yeah, so he doesn't think that he's in danger because Michael's never responded before. So he can bully around the big guy.
He thinks he's a docile.
Yeah, and then he just chose the wrong fucking day, basically.
Well, can we agree though that the Bill Moseley scene, Tom Towles and Leslie Easterbrook, that's the better escape scene in the movies, in my opinion.
I
don't know. I don't think it's a better scene. It's kind of just a cameo scene. There's nothing special about it.
Look, there is something special about it. Bill Moseley's in it.
Oh yeah. Well, to me, that like I prefer that because of how awful of a watch that is to watch that scene. I do fast forward through that now, like when I watch the film.
Yeah, I can't.
Because it's too much.
Well, I watched 07 Halloween once a year at minimum, and I always want to think that I pop it in thinking I'm gonna like it. Like maybe this year I'll like it, and so but I watched the theatrical cut. And I'm like, this I like this better. I think the flow is a little bit better. They took out a lot of that choppy, the newscasting and a lot of that stuff, and the black and white images of Michael Myers and some of the voiceover with Sam Loomis. That was all added back in to the unrated version. I think I really like the theatrical a lot better overall. Anyway, it's first of all, it's about 20 minutes less of that movie because that's a 2-hour fucking hike to get through that movie, which is too much in my opinion, especially with that long ass first quarter of the movie with his family and that Ronnie asshole, played perfectly by William Forsythe.
Quick shout out. Yeah. Quick shout out. Joey Luna, I see you're watching. I miss you, buddy. So I wanted to talk about the performances, like of the different characters, because these are some big fucking shoes to fill. And
I think some people topped it.
Whoa.
I stand by this.
I agree. I think Dee Wallace was a better.
I don't want to cut off Jared. Go ahead, Jared.
Go ahead, Jared. Yeah. Go ahead. Absolutely.
No, I was just gonna say, like Scout Taylor Compton, she did very good as Laurie in that movie. Like,
I'm gonna agree with you because
adorable.
She was absolutely adorable in that movie. I loved her in that role. The bagel scene was a little bit off for me, but yeah, I liked her a lot. Go ahead.
and she's no stranger to horror. She showed up in a movie I did a review for the Syndicate called Ghost House that was really fucking good, and she's still pretty young and getting better and better and better. But I want to turn the table on Malcolm McDowell's performance now.
Complete
Better or not?
Not better,
I
but it was
it's
good.
I can't really say it's better or not because it's a different kind of Loomis. It's a different character.
yeah, they're polar opposites. It's too hard to compare. They're both great actors, and I think Malcolm did a great job at what was on the page. Whether we like the page, I don't know. Like especially the second movie where he's just a sellout douchebag. I don't
Oh
get
yeah,
that. But I what I do like about that is that Rod chose to show that side of exploitation of a doctor exploiting a victim is what he did, and I kind of dig that, and I like that how that affects everybody. How Linda's dad wants to kill him, and how Brackett wants to beat him up, and all that. Like that created interesting conflict for Loomis, where it wasn't just the same movie again, where he's like, "Hey, sheriff, Michael's coming back. We got to go find him." It was there. There was actually he had redemption coming at the end of the movie. Like when he goes to go face Michael, he actually has an arc. He's redeeming himself of what he's done. He's owning up to his mistakes and the things he's done wrong.
Yeah, it's more because with him, everybody else is telling him what he did wrong and that he fucked up. And the original Loomis himself is more in his head telling himself that he could have stopped all this and being mad at himself that he didn't stop the chaos and all that.
let me go back to the theatrical cut again because they make Loomis in the unrated version look like he's more cold-hearted when he leaves Michael. And that's another thing I noticed because I watched them back to back, and he leaves Michael, the night he's fired or whatever. But in the theatrical version, he like seems like he knows that he failed him also. Where in the unrated version, you don't get that at all. Like he leaves the building, he looks back, like am I doing the right thing? You kind of get that feeling. And I think Malcolm McDowell, when I heard he was cast as Loomis, that really made me excited because recently he had been in Heroes. I don't know if you guys watched Heroes or not, and he was kind of the main villain type guy early. The he who should not be named. I can't remember what his name was,
I
but
can't remember.
yeah, he turned out to be awesome. And then when they named him to be as Loomis, I'm like, fuck. Okay, I have hope for this movie. He was great. I thought it was great.
I love his the blackest eyes speech.
Mhm.
These eyes will deceive you. They will
Yeah.
destroy you. I love that part. And then
I like the way it's presented also.
yeah, and they close up on him. These eyes. These are the eyes of the psychopath. I'm like, yeah, it's fucking Alex DeLarge. Of course, these are the eyes of a psychopath. But I thought he was good.
I want to hear Seth. Seth, come on now.
Yeah, I was excited to hear that Malcolm McDowell was cast as Loomis, because I've always liked him as an actor. I thought he did good in the first one with the way the character was written. It almost kind of seemed like he was like the Donald Pleasance Loomis. He was someone who is constantly misunderstood. People are always telling him that they're always accusing him of letting him out or taking advantage or whatever, but he really does care. He really does want to stop Michael from killing more people, and his performance is good in both movies, but I do not like the version of the character in the second movie at all. I just don't like asshole Loomis, and I feel like his redemption wasn't quite as earned as it could have been. I think they could have had maybe a couple subtle hints earlier throughout the movie where maybe he does have some sort of regret for what was happening, or maybe he had some sort of doubt that Michael was dead.
Starts to
The fact
question
that there
himself.
was,
Well, there's
yeah,
almost go ahead.
well, the fact that they weren't able to find Michael's body after the nasty ass coroners crashed into the cow, and he's satisfied with the answer of Michael's dead, even though there was no body. I like Loomis from like Halloween 4, where No, Michael's body wasn't around after the ambulance crash, and he was not satisfied. He knew that Michael was out there. He wanted to get the jump on that. So I didn't like the direction they took his character in the second one. He played it well. He does play an asshole pretty well.
Yes, it does.
So do I, actually.
I
Yeah.
Next time you need an asshole, look no
And
further.
I think to contradict what I even said about his redemption is, was he redeeming himself because he felt guilty, or was he realizing after the whole Chris Hardwick show appearance that his career was going to flounder because it's over? Is this like an attempt to save his career and save his name by going and doing a stunt?
Yeah, because it is a news chopper.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of felt like it was genuine because like he saw himself, he saw how much of an ass he was, and then right after he saw the news report involved, about Michael and Lori and all that, and I felt he was like he wanted to go and actually help and stop Michael.
Yeah.
I kind of get what you're saying though, Seth. That there could have been more like of him questioning himself throughout the second movie, just to like he's slowly getting to the point where he wants to redeem himself. Because Loomis in the original Halloweens, he's almost more of like a conspiracy theorist Loomis. Like even if Michael, like if he had pure proof that Michael was dead, he still probably wouldn't believe it and would think he's still alive, because that's how devoted and involved he is.
It's probably just Rob's commentary on all the opportunist assholes he's run into in his career.
Probably.
I do have to say though, I really like that scene with Linda's dad in the bookstore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a great moment in Halloween 2.
Yeah. Now that wasn't in the theatrical version, I don't think, was it? You guys remember?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen the theatrical.
I think
theaters.
yeah, I think it was because I think I remember that in the theater.
The theatrical, I'm drunk. Whoa. The theatrical version is hard to come by these days. I'd like to have that. I said I'd never own Halloween 2, but I had to get it with my collection. But I still like to get that copy. I know there's a 2-pack from Canada that has 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's the only way I can find it.
Would you guys like to move on and talk about maybe my Brad Dourif?
Brad Dourif is fucking great.
Dude, Brad Dourif
always is.
Is this the one we're talking about was better?
I would say Brad Dourif is better than Charles Cyphers is. I would say Danielle Harris is better than Nancy Loomis is.
Yeah.
I would say that the kids are better than the kids in the original film.
Yeah. We actually have a couple of comments about that. Andre Bickley said Brad Dourif's Sheriff Brackett was way better than Charles Cyphers.
He was great.
Yeah. And Chris Hall said, what do we think of the young Michael's performance?
I thought Daig was fantastic, actually. I don't like the kid in the second one.
I don't like Daig at all.
But I thought Daig was very interesting.
Yeah, there was something about him that didn't seem genuine to me. And that sounds dumb, maybe. But like watching him, it didn't feel like he was like actually, I don't know, something bothered me about his performance.
We also have a comment that might ruffle some feathers. Raekwon Phillips says, RZH is good. RZH2 is a masterpiece.
Turn off the camera.
There are a lot of people I know in the horror community who consider that their favorite Halloween movie, or the best, or one of the best sequels. So it's not. And I think a lot of people. Well, I think a lot of people, when they see H2, they see that what Rob attempted, which was not to just make another Michael Myers movie. He had a full, like a clean slate to do whatever he wanted,
to make
and he did. And I think that's where a lot of the movie gets lost on people, is that it just doesn't feel like a traditional Halloween movie. He did his own thing with it. And I remember going to see it. I saw it at the drive-in opening night. They played Halloween and the new one. And I remember being numb after it ended. I just did not like the theatrical version at all. And I was like, what went wrong? Wow, what went wrong? And so I gave it another chance on home video, did not like it. And then I was at a convention, and I was by Danielle Harris's table, and we started talking, and I told her, man, I really loved you and Brad in those movies. I wish the Brackets had a bigger part, they were more in the sequel, because I love those two characters. And she said, oh, have you seen the director's cut? I said, no. And she said, got to see the director's cut. There's more of us in it. She goes, I don't like the theatrical cut myself, and she goes, they cut everything out that was good in the film, and so I still didn't watch it. But I kept running into people that I know are great, like really sharp film fans, and they just kept telling me how much they love H2, the director's cut. So I bought it at like FYE for $12, the Blu-ray, came home, watched it, and was just like genuinely shocked at how much I enjoyed it. And by the end of it, I was so moved, and I was like, when Brackett finds Annie dead, and
Mm.
like, and the scene where just that when Love Hurts plays and they come down above Laurie laying there dead after they shoot her, I was actually like very emotional watching that. This the N-rated. I don't remember if any of that was in the fucking theatrical cut, but I just remember
No,
feeling
it wasn't.
completely opposite.
It
I
wasn't.
felt I felt sad, and just it affected me. So I don't disagree. The people who think it's a masterpiece, like everybody has their different opinions. I wouldn't use that word, but at the same time, I don't. I see why people feel that way because it is a unique experience. It's not like all the other movies, and I think the director's cut possibly is a better movie than the first movie because the first movie is just a rehash, a rushed rehash.
Well,
Because he
yeah,
had to rush.
it's very much its own thing. I mean, he
Yeah.
borrows a little bit from Halloween 2 with but we find out that's not exactly what happened. I want to comment on Brad Dourif for a second in that scene. That might be his best acting performance I've ever seen. In the director's cut versus the theatrical cut, they cut out all of his dialogue. It's all there's a song playing over it. You can't hear him at all. His
All
pain
right.
and his anguish. When you see the director's cut, the unrated director's cut, yeah, that's back in there. And I got to tell you, his performance is great in that scene when he finds, Annie dead.
Do they have the home video footage of Danielle in the theatrical cut?
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
no, not the
No,
theatrical cut. No,
because that to me that was something I did in a
that was on the
film.
set of Halloween 4 too, wasn't it? The
Uh,
home video stuff. It looks like it might have been on the set of one of the Halloween
It
like
movies.
her
looks
birthday party on the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
she had a birthday party on part 4, I think.
Part 4, yeah.
But I I think the first time I ever saw something like that was there was a film made here in Kentucky called The Silence of Isabella, and it was about this girl who was going through the trauma of being sexually abused by her parents. She don't know that through the whole movie. She's running away from something in this kind of surreal way, but you kind of find out that who's haunting her and chasing her are the memories of her parents molesting her. And there's a scene where she's basically taking all of her clothes off and getting into a bath as she's crying, as like her parents are making her do this, but she's an adult. And as she's doing this, the director threw in childhood photo, like home videos of that actress as a kid in there, and that was the first time I'd ever seen something done like that. I ended up doing something like that in my movie where, as a woman's being murdered, I'm cutting to like Polaroids and stuff on the fridge of her family and her baby and her all that stuff. And to me, it's like this is the humanity of like it's making a human out of the victim because we see a lot. That's the thing about Rob. I think if you look at the D. Wallace kills and that kill, he doesn't handle murders in slasher films like they are in other slasher films where it's you stabbed them and they're dead. He makes you feel something for those people. He humanizes the victims. So when
Prolongs the
Annie
death, yeah.
yeah, so when Annie dies, it's got so much weight and emotional weight to it. When Dee Wallace dies, you're sad. It's like because he shows you they're not just lambs to the slaughter. They're actually people we actually when Danny Trejo's murdered, he gives us moments where he's not just killing, he's showing consequences to things, and I don't think he gets enough credit for that in his movies.
That was good to you,
Um,
Mikey.
They're
yeah, I
not
mean
they're not just
That's a great
cannon
scene.
fodder.
yeah,
I'll say I kind of had the same experience last night because I hadn't seen Halloween 2 since theaters. I absolutely hated it when I went and saw it. But last night I watched the director's cut, which I had never seen. It is it's a whole different movie, and I think I like it more than Halloween 1. I just had the only things I had problems with Halloween 2 is the whole Michael seeing his mom and little himself, like that's fine, but Laurie seeing it as well was the part I was just like, I don't understand
Oh
this.
yeah.
Do they both have like a shared like disease that's making them psycho? I don't understand.
Well, they did in part four, right?
Well, that's where Rob Zombie kind of contradicts himself, because his first film, it was definitely the nurture versus nature argument, where it was Michael was a product of his environment.
Yeah.
And then you got to think Laurie was raised by the Strodes, who were really good people. She had a good life. But in part two, it's kind of implied that it's genetic, that she's, she's
Yeah.
seeing the same stuff.
Yeah, that was the thing I didn't get, because at the end, like, me and Kayla were both watching it, and Kayla's just like, I don't understand. I was like, I don't either.
Yeah, that was one thing that bothered me in the second one was that, and I guess if it is genetic, because I thought, why does she have a picture of Manson above her bed? And
Yeah.
why is, like, it, to me, it doesn't make sense that someone who's lost her friends and family to a serial killer would have, I know he's not a serial
Well,
killer technically, but why would she have
but
Charles Manson above her bed?
she took a wrong turn to the wrong side. I mean, the whole the thing that I got mostly out of Halloween 2 was watching the deconstruction of Laurie Strode, where in the original cut, there's certain like little scenes, for instance, at the breakfast table, her and Annie, I heard you last night or something like that, and she's like day by day, and then they cut. But in this, they she goes fucking nuts, and you could
Mhm.
see that she just keeps falling apart. And I
Yeah,
mean, maybe she just went down a very dark path for that last. It was 2 years in the
I
director's.
do. I do really like her PTSD
Yeah.
in the second one. I think it's very palpable and very
Am I
strong, very
yelling? By the way,
real.
I feel like I'm yelling.
No,
No, you're
I
good.
mean, I think
Loud
the
noises.
that that's part of the, because that's one of the things that always bugged me about slasher films is that a lot of times we see the next movie and she's got a whole new set of friends and everything's fine and they've got a new boyfriend and it's like, no, Lori is fucking damaged as
No,
hell and like,
no, listen, that's how it was. Life in the '80s. You lose some friends, you gain new ones. Everything's fine. Look at
you,
Alice.
you hit a bump out of your ring, you go about your day.
and just like the scene where she's in there talking to Margot Kidder about, oh, I saw this guy in the park and he was just like Frankenstein. He was making these kids and they had to, and she's like, just
Yeah,
like,
she can't construct her own
yeah,
sentences.
where is this going? And it's such a great little, that part of it is really good and she handles it very well. And I
Mhm.
think Rob handles it very
I'll
well.
say one little tiny nitpick that also bothered me is, why the fuck does the sheriff's house look like this? Like, there's like graffiti all over the fucking walls, and like it looks like a fucking pigsty. And I'm like, why does the
He-
sheriff's house look like this?
Everybody lives differently.
I get that,
yeah,
but it's the sheriff. Why does his house look like
He's also a single guy, apparently.
I think he probably just is always at work and he lets them do what they need to do to get through they've been through some horrible shit.
True, true. Okay, that I can understand.
I'm not inviting you over to my house. Why is this on the floor?
And
Well,
that's also adds to the weight of Brackett in that his daughter got hurt in the first movie and he's been worried about it happen again. And when it happens again, it's like this ultimate failure of,
mhm.
you know, and I keep bringing up my own movies, but my new movie is all about not being there for your children when they needed you and like and failing, and that's a
Which
big
movie?
fear. The Dark and Bloody Ground. It's
Oh, okay.
Hey,
That movie.
say back in my movie. Say. I hate to talk about my movie. Say, go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead. Come on. I wanna.
but no,
do something.
I that theme is a big thing for me as a father, and I know
Right.
for any father
Yeah,
For
of
sure. For
so
sure.
for seeing that scene when Brackett sees his little baby girl laying there and he sees her as a child as he remembers her, that like because that's like her
Could you
whole
imagine?
life like splashing before him as that's my baby and some fucker just took her and I wasn't here when it happened and I wasn't here to protect her or save her, or that's what I'm exploring, and that's what he does in this film, and that's why that scene out of all, I can't think of another scene in a Halloween series that has that much power.
I have one.
Okay.
When Jamie Lloyd talks and Tina's there. What a great scene. So much power. Say it again. I mean, come on. Nothing's more
I
powerful than
was I
Tina.
was 100% waiting for Ray to just be like, Lonnie.
Lonnie.
There's
Your
way
ass.
more gravitas to that scene than anything else. Uh, no, I agree with you. I mean, there's a lot of points. I just, for some reason, like when I think and we're talking about it, I feel better about the movie. But like when I watched it, I just don't enjoy it.
Maybe you need to watch it with somebody.
I don't think these are
Yeah.
movies to enjoy though, unless you're a certain type of fan who
You
just
know,
gets off on this shit. But
no,
they're not fun. Yeah, but I know what you mean. But like you said, said that you don't have fun, and that's the thing about
I still
slashers.
love Halloween 3D. Come on.
That's the thing I've said about slashers is that that's where the Nightmare on Elm Street movie remake got it wrong, is because it's not fun. Everybody's depressed and damaged, and it's all serious. Where like you don't get the scenes where Johnny Depp's playing the tape and messing up, trying to call his mom, and all these little like innocent moments. Usually slashers are a little more enjoyable to watch. I think that's why they were so popular. This movie is, I mean, and some people may have found it fun, but it's not a movie. Rob just doesn't make movies that make you feel good. He just doesn't.
Well, that's not what I mean. I mean, enjoy watching it as a movie, not like enjoy like I really love seeing that bitch die.
No,
Oh man,
it's very ugly, disturbing.
that's Rob Zombie.
Uncomfortable
Movie. It's a Rob
stuff.
Zombie movie. I
Yeah.
mean, they're basically they're the Halloween show in a Rob Zombie movie or something like that. They're Rob Zombie movies. I mean, that's all it is. It's just
And
there's a fan base for it, and
Yeah,
he's
that's the thing,
80%
yeah.
exploitation every time.
there's a big fan, and I appreciate that. And you know, and we talked about that fan edit, and Nate got really up in arms about it. Somebody asked if we've seen the fan edit. It's what it does is it takes out basically all of the trashy elements of Michael Myers' life, like the bullied kid or the bully kid that bullies him at school. They took that out. They took out Ronnie completely, and they focused more on Judith, him killing Judith, just like the original movie. They tried to make it more like the original movie.
They completely edited out like his parents completely.
Almost, yeah.
It's weird.
It's interesting. It's on YouTube. It's if you want, check it out. It also, the ending is different. It adds on part from part 2, which ruins it honestly. But it's all right. If I'm gonna watch one, I'm watching the director's. I mean the theatrical. Yeah. Do we have any new comments?
Let's see. Sean Stiff said he would like to see Rob Zombie reboot Wrong Turn.
Oh God, I read it. He said something a few minutes ago. He said something about Rob Zombie remake and Halloween 3. And then David Gill, thank you for saying this. I would have said it too. Halloween 3 is fine the way it is.
Yes, it is. Yes,
I think if I were a producer choosing Rob Zombie for remakes, I'd get him to remake The Funhouse. I've been saying that for like a decade.
I agree with that.
Oh, Toby Hooper's movie? Yeah.
Yeah,
I can see that.
because I mean he's already made Chainsaw a couple times.
The remake. If Rob Zombie ever does, I don't think he'll ever do another remake.
All right, I want to hear some more from Seth because Seth's our Halloween guy, and I'm sure he's got some.
I think he's been
Some
trying to
things
talk, and
I think he has too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seth, just tell us to shut up.
I'm
Yeah.
just,
Hey, Seth, when you're ready to talk, just do this.
My show.
No,
the universal signal.
style though. Like,
All right.
Gotta get it. You're right next to me. Get a hook to come over and grab me.
I hate interrupting people.
I'm the same way, and I do it all the time.
Yeah. So, just a couple things from going back to what you guys were talking about. Nate mentioned the PTSD, and that was great, not just for Laurie, but for all of the characters, like with Annie and Lee Brackett, and even with Dr. Loomis. Like this movie was all about how the events of the first Rob Zombie movie affected all these characters.
Right.
You know, I don't like the direction of Loomis, but the idea of he was right, people were constantly, on him.
And I love the attention of how damaged she is when they pull her into the hospital.
Yeah.
The bodily damage that she's like, it's fucking great.
Oh yeah, like her finger missing, and yeah. And going back to the kind of the first reaction of Halloween 2 is like I'm very similar to you guys, where when I first saw it, I hated the movie. I thought it was total shit, and then I watched it because I'm a completionist, so I had to buy it on DVD. and I got the unrated cut. And knowing what to expect this time around, I actually enjoyed it, and every time I watch it, it gets a little bit better and better for me. I honestly don't mind the seeing from Michael's perspective of his mom and his younger self. I know the mom really pisses a lot of people off because Rob's always kind of
Everybody hates Sherry Moon, man.
I don't hate her. I love her. I was fine with it. Go.
everyone hates that fucking white horse. Um, but
He educated horses, leftovers, I guess.
You want to ride it?
but he's got a lot of good ideas. It's just he needs a better writer to work with him because
Who-
this
Yeah.
movie was
Who writes
really.
with him? Is it just him, or
What's that?
who actually writes these with him? Is it just him, or does
I
he?
think
Have
he's the only one credited,
Really?
and I think that's right because like he's a great art director. Like his movies just have great art direction, and they look good. There's some
life.
about them. And like you said, he has great ideas. Like I absolutely love the scene where Michael's being arrested for killing Judith and everyone, and he had everybody stand still and has that dolly shot over to the car, and so the lights are all moving, the cherries from the cars, the cop cars are moving, but everybody's freeze framed except for Michael, and it's a beautiful, great idea for a shot. There's a lot of great stuff in this, a lot of great visuals, and that goes into Rob being an artist himself. But like you said, it's like his writing is dime store Tarantino with extra trash thrown in top. Like it's
The
like,
redneck Tarantino.
yeah, he's redneck Tarantino.
Let's watch the racial slurs, please.
Red, rednecks. Okay.
With the anti-Semitic remarks. Okay.
But I do think I'm like Seth with both movies. The more and more I watch them, the more I like them. And you just can't compare them to the original movie. That's the big no on these
That's
movies.
the problem I think I have, honestly.
Yeah, because everybody does. Oh well, that wasn't how it was. Because I mean, that's the thing. It's like it's just you can't because it's not the same film. But and when you do that, you realize, wow, like the scene where Annie, when Lori finds Annie. Go ahead.
No, I'm just letting you know whenever you're done.
Okay.
Whoa, what happened?
Shots fired. Go ahead.
Shit, now I forgot.
All right, so now,
What was it?
Was that a good idea or was it a bad idea?
Oh,
I don't know.
it got my attention.
I haven't started drinking yet. What were you talking about? Because there's something that you mentioned that
about 40 things.
that-
No, I
He said art
What was
direction.
that?
And
yeah, art direction and some of his ideas, and that he is that his writing he's Quentin Tarantino wannabe, but he just isn't as eloquent as Quentin is. Quentin's a great writer, and he isn't. and so I think that's where I was before.
Before you got the
yeah, I think all I was gonna say was like he wasn't doing the shape. He was telling the psychopath version. He was, and I mentioned this in our little chat the other day, and I'm not trying to compare Rob Zombie's movies to these other movies, but it's like what De Palma did with Scarface, what Cronenberg did with The Fly, even Carpenter with The Thing a little bit, even though
That's a
there's
really
a
good
book.
point.
But like they took the basic concepts and stuff, and they just did their own thing with them, and that's what Rob Zombie did here. He wasn't retelling John Carpenter's version, which was The Shape. He was telling the version of Michael that was a product of his environment.
And
Bad home. His real father passed away. They didn't really elaborate too much on that, but it's kind of seemed like Michael became obsessed with death after that, and yeah. And also, what I like about his movies. So I just want to put this out there. Like his movies are not at the top of my list for Halloween. They're towards the bottom of my list, but I still get enjoyment out of them to a certain degree. But what I like about what he did was he brought the horror back to the franchise, because with H2O and Resurrection, they were, as I've been telling you guys, they were the light beer of the Halloween
Not
franchise.
to mention, he brought the horror back. He also brought the Loomis back. But go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah, and this Michael is terrifying.
yeah, and
Why do you make him
there's an
8 foot tall?
intensity.
It's terrifying.
But it's not even just the size; it's just how brutal he is, and how the stabbing, and just like when she runs into the door, he just slams into it. I mean, it's
Well, hey,
terrifying.
listen, I'm gonna just throw this out there, okay? Halloween '07, Michael Myers equals Robert Pattinson Batman. Brutal.
Vengeance.
What if Michael said I'm vengeance?
I'll say that was another thing.
But go ahead.
I'll say that's another thing he did differently though with Michael. I noticed a lot in Halloween 2 is he makes a lot of noises.
Yeah, he does. He
Like
grunts a
he's
lot.
not silent. Like he has like some force behind him vocally.
It relieves pressure.
And
It's good for you.
And
Just like tennis players do it.
Seth's comment about the remakes that don't get shit on, the John Carpenters and the Flies and all that. Generally, what it is that generation says, "Oh well, the original The Thing was boring to me." Well, that's the same thing. We get kids now who say that the original Halloween is boring, and people take great offense to that. And I'm sure John Carpenter's generation took offense to people saying that the original Thing was boring. But that's just how it is. People don't want to admit that we're just old and
Damn
things
kids.
aren't. Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
but
another thing too with that is I believe it was someone who worked on the original The Thing from Another World did not like John Carpenter's The Thing at all. They called it trash because it was all blood and violence and all that. So to me it's like almost like a similar type of reaction.
It's all blood and guts. There is no story. Get the fuck out of here. Sorry.
yeah, because the original Thing was a landmark film for that decade and for that generation growing up with those movies. That is the Halloween of the 50s in many ways. It's like as far as how strong of a their whole generation worships that movie. And so when John Carpenter remade it, it probably was looked down as just effects driven, gore driven shit. And if you listen to John, he says that the movie failed. It didn't do very well. It took years for it to catch on. But again, and I know that's how fans are. When someone says, "Oh, well, the original Halloween film's boring," it just infuriates us. And I let it go now. I don't care. It's like I know how it is. It's the cycle of life. Everything I love is passe and boring and lame to this generation.
Hey
There's
now.
still some. There's still some like Keith. There's still some like Keith. But that again, that goes all. That's the history of horror. Like when Bogdanovich made Targets, he was hired to make a Boris Karloff movie by Corman, and he's like, the brand of Boris Karloff horror is not scary anymore. Like that shit doesn't work. And it doesn't. It didn't. And he made a Charles Whitman movie with Boris Karloff in it because that was what was scary. It was the late 60s. We had Vietnam going on. We had all that crazy shit going on. With that going on in the world, mansions and werewolves and Draculas and all that stuff was not going to be as effective as a guy climbing a tower and shooting cars on the freeway.
Desensitization, desensitization, more desensitization.
Yeah. So
And then a little distance.
Rob Zombie's movie came in 6 years after 9/11, and the torture porn and the brutality and all that had to match the reality that we were dealing with of terrorism and war and just the shit that was going on in the world.
I have a question. Do you guys think that Rob?
Hold on. Why'd you raise your hand?
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I just did. I don't know. Actually, it was just involuntary.
I have a question.
Waiter.
Can I say something?
Is there going to be a quiz on this?
Do you guys think Rob started getting ideas for Lords of Salem with H2? Because every time I see the mom and younger self scenes, like all I think about is Lords of Salem. Like the people sitting at the dinner table and it's definitely Rob's style, but every time I see that stuff, all I think of is Lords of Salem.
He was definitely stretching his artsy-fartsy art house muscles on H2 because they gave him, unfortunately, carte blanche to do what he wanted, and then they took it away when they saw it.
They did he not want to do H? I can't remember. Was he only wanting to do the one, or did he want to do two?
He didn't want to do another one.
Okay.
He said he would never do it again, and then like all of a sudden they announced he's doing it, and it's because I think they told him, do whatever you want, we're happy, and
It
then he
made
turned,
money. Do it.
yeah, and then he turned it in, and they're like, no, this is no, so they cut it all the good shit out of it, and to me the theatrical version is a hack and slash movie in my
They
opinion.
made it nicer. Also, they made it nicer. You know, like I don't know.
I get what you're saying.
No, well, no, seriously. After watching both movies back to back, I watched the both cuts of each movie. Laurie Strode is a different person in the theatrical cut versus the director's cut. She's completely different. Her PTSD is different. It's almost non-existent in the theatrical version. I agree. I honestly, like, after this past weekend of enduring these movies again, I actually think the next time I rank the Halloween movies, I might put two before one and before Resurrection, which,
Oh.
dude,
That's what I would do.
Resurrection doesn't bother me as much as it bothers everyone else. Okay.
Yeah, it's probably my least favorite.
I mean, we get Seth. Seth, I mean, he is part of Dangertainment, so.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Any new comments?
Let's see. Stephen Wallace said, "Any thoughts why the director's cut spends so much time in part one to make Loomis seem good, but the director's cut of part two makes time to make him sound more of a dick?" I think it's just because after the first one, he just saw the opportunity to make money off of what happened to him. I mean,
Well, yeah, because Michael was dead. Make more money.
Well,
that's
something I
the thing.
thought was interesting.
Even the best people in the world, they see an opportunity like that, they can choose to take it and do it in a
One of
douchey way.
the one of the complaints I saw a lot about, and I'll defend this, is um, people thought that Rob Zombie disrespected Carpenter and hated Halloween and because of some of the things he did, and you know he like with Loomis, I always thought it was funny. Loomis was one of the characters that he had a problem with in the original Halloween because he thought he was too hokey and too melodramatic, which he is. He completely is. Everything Loomis says is cryptic and ridiculous, and no one talks like that. And the thing is, Donald Pleasance himself said that. Donald Pleasance himself said, "Nobody talks like this. This is ridiculous." But I mean, I love Donald. Like Dr. Loomis is my favorite horror character of all time. But he is corny. It is melodramatic. It is.
I watched him for 15 years.
Yeah, no. In the room,
staring
at the
at the wall,
wall,
looking through the wall.
Yeah.
This night.
And and even like it's great we get Brad going, yeah, more fancy talk. I mean, I mean that's that at least I know Carpenter knew that though. He knew that he was laying it on thick, and that was kind of just the archetype of the character. But that was something Rob took out because Rob wasn't making that type of film. He was making a more reality based movie. Before I lose that on there, I wanted to talk about the idea of Michael being a product of his environment in this first movie. A little more about that because that's something I've debated with a lot on that.
Yeah, because Seth brought that up a couple of times, and I think you guys are right. I mean, one of my biggest problems with the movie coming out of it originally was in the original 78 movie, he picks up with him killing his sister, stalking his sister, killing his sister. Why? Who fucking knows? Nobody knows. That's what made Michael so terrifying. And they kind of brought that back in 2018. We don't know why he's doing this. He's just doing it. You know, and in this one, I feel like that was one of my biggest problems. They gave him a multitude of reasons to become a crazy person and kill a bunch.
You feel complicated on how to feel about it once he starts killing everybody.
Ronnie fucking deserved it. First of all,
Ronnie. Well, not when that happens. I'm talking about when he's an adult. I'm talking about I sympathize with Michael more than I did.
Right.
But my whole point of bringing it up was I don't think Michael was entirely just a product of where he was, because when I look at the lines, I look at the information there. I think Ronnie's just a loudmouth drunk. I don't think he's touched Michael. I don't think he's hit Michael. I think there's a Deborah, the mother. Mm-hmm. I don't think she would stand for it. She stands up to Ronnie, even though he's in a cast and all that shit. Mm-hmm. she stands up to him. Michael stands up to him. I hate you. He doesn't. He's not. They're not afraid of him.
That's
Judith's not
true.
afraid of him. He's just a fucking loud mouth asshole. And I do think that they came from a good family with the way Judith talks about their dad. My daddy's in
Like
heaven.
she's a good mom, just doing whatever she
Yeah,
can.
and she's just struggling and trying to get through there, get through life. But I don't think that Michael is entirely made by abuse. I think he already was fucked up. I think he already is a sociopath. And I don't even think the bullies, because he's not entirely, he's avoiding the bullies, but he's not backing down from the bullies.
No, that's true. That's a good point.
And he goes right at them. So I don't think this is someone who's been abused and turned into a monster. I think he already had some wiring screwed up already.
My personal theory on that is it has something to do with the father passing away. Because clearly, Lori / Angel was just a baby, so it couldn't have been, maybe a year or so, and maybe his reaction to death, his curiosity about death, and then starting to take it out on the animals and explore death, try to get the meaning or whatever, and it just kind of escalated from there. But my personal theory is that it had to do with losing his father. And
see, I like that.
Because I've never even thought about that. I'm liking this. Keep going.
Well, because even at the end of the movie, I believe there's a part earlier in the movie when Deborah goes to kill herself. She's watching home videos.
Yeah.
I think they show some of that during the end credits. But you see Michael all smiling. He's all happy. He's holding Judith, not Judith. He's holding Angel. But it seemed like he was dressed nice. It almost seemed like he was happy at one point. The whole family was happy at one point. And
so when the father died, everything went down.
Well, that's his whole motivation in the movie, is to reunite his family. He goes to get Lori, not to kill her, but to be back with Boo and Mom and everybody there. Right. And that's what he does. So his motivation is not to just destroy and kill and butcher.
Why did he kill Judith then?
I guess because she was.
See, if he's trying to reunite the family, is he trying to reunite them because they're all dead, and he's going to kill her like a homicide-suicide type of thing? Because he kills his sister, the mom's dead, the dad's dead, so he gets Lori to bring her back. He's going to kill her anyway if they were trying, because that makes sense. What you're saying?
Take them all to dad.
Yeah, is that what he was starting by killing Judith? Taking him back to dad.
Maybe because Judith.
This is very interesting.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Judith didn't really show any warmth toward him,
no, not at all,
or any. Yeah, I mean, she could have been a bully as well to him.
I feel like if they would have added more about his father, stuff like this that we're talking about, I feel like it would have made it better.
Another thing too, I kind of wonder about is, would he have stabbed Judith if she didn't slap him upside the head a couple times?
Possible, yeah.
Because he went in there and he was kind of touching her all creepy like, he had the knife and he killed everyone else, but
he deserved to get slapped in the head. He's touching his half-naked sister.
I know, but
and he already killed 2 people, so what was he gonna do? Seriously, do you think he was going up there to just feel her leg? That weirds me out. I like the thought about things going downhill after the father passed away. Like, things went to complete shit for the whole family after the father. Even the scene where Judith, they say something about doing it upstairs with her dad in the room. My dad's in heaven, okay? That whole scene, I never really thought about where's the fucking dad. Ronnie's got such a big personality. I almost forgot that there is another father there somewhere. And then thinking about taking it a step further and thinking it's been within a year because of the angel baby is so young. So if that's the father of the child, it's been within a year or so.
And then how the mom could have became a stripper because the dad passed away, and so she just had to. She had to do what she had to do.
My mom, first of all, wasn't a stripper, but she played ball at nights to help, because there was just me, my sister, my brother, and my mom, and she had to do one day job, and then she bartended at night. hope she wasn't stripping that.
Right. Well, and you can kind of say the same thing about Judith too, like how maybe it affected her, how not having a father figure made her, especially going into her teens where she's sexually active and
Got
Yeah.
daddy issues, and her mom's a stripper now.
yeah.
Hannah Hall. Virgin Suicides. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I feel
So-
like if they would have added the dad stuff a little bit more, I feel like that would have made the movie overall feel a little different.
It would have been better, honestly, in my opinion, if they would have just made the sequel to, can't think of the title again.
Or hell, if they just left the drunk asshole out completely and it was just them.
Well, that's what the fan films try to do. Okay, here's a question from one of our followers here, Sean Stiff. Has anyone ever seen Carpenter talk about his films remakes, reboots, or rehashes? He gives two shits about what's going on with his film franchise as long as he's paid royalties.
Yeah, because he's a businessman.
Yeah. He doesn't
Yeah,
care.
as long as you keep sending me checks, which is always funny because that's usually fans just hate anybody like only thinking about money. And this is a guy who's admitted, yeah, I wrote Halloween 2 for the money, and I get all like he's never shied away from saying, look, I'm a
It's
capitalist.
his job.
Yeah, but that's the
He's
thing. Like
hired,
the
dude.
arts, the arts is the only fucking thing where you can't do things for a job. How many people out there have a job they do for money?
Right here.
Yeah, but the
Nice.
artists aren't allowed to. They're like, oh, you just got to all be about your soul, and it's like, no, like, look, we got it. Like, Rob Zombie had some hit movies, and they threw a remake at them. John Carpenter had movies tossed at him. Halloween was not his idea; it was brought to him. I mean, a lot of the stuff he didn't write. Here, there's this, you want to do this, you want to do that. You look at his history. So, this whole sellout bullshit is ridiculous. Because I mean, basically, you take the job and then you make the movie you want to make, and that's what Rob did.
Does he comp?
Both of his
Does he
movies.
comp on every Halloween movie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good for him.
Good for him.
he's a
But-
very
Seriously,
business
good for
minded.
him.
All the people complaining about that, like they would fucking take the check too. Like
Oh,
people,
yeah.
Yeah,
the people online they're
yeah. Like
Yeah.
I love the people who are like, oh, I can bitch about Robert Pattinson because he chose to take that job. Yeah, it made him a multi-millionaire, and he can do whatever he wants now. Like,
Yeah.
No,
how
the-
would you like to be
Twilight-
21 years old and be able to not have to ever do anything you don't want to do?
Well, he did those 5 Twilight movies, made
Yeah.
tons of money, and he's making all these taking all these great roles now that he may not have been able to take before.
Yeah.
Do almost anything he
Right.
wants to do. We're not talking about him.
going
It's
back
the
to
same thing.
going back to Carpenter though. That's why I love him. Is he does not bullshit. He doesn't tell
No,
people what they want to hear. He tells the truth. He doesn't, and people get mad when they hear the truth, and that's unfortunate. It's you'd rather have these celebrities lie to you, like all the entire cast of
But
That's
Friday 13th,
legit.
2009.
and at
That's
the same
legit.
time, Rob Zombie doesn't give a fuck what you think or what you
Well,
say. about
exactly,
movies.
yeah.
And that's what part of why I like him is like, I always go back to that quote. They said, "What do you think about? You think people are gonna like Hellbilly Deluxe 2?" He goes, "It doesn't matter." And they're like, "What? That's not the answer they want." He's like, "Look, when White Zombie came out, they said we were the worst band ever. And then when I went solo, they said, oh man, White Zombie was amazing. We want you to go back to White Zombie." He goes, and then when Hellbilly Deluxe came out, they said it was shit. And now they're calling it a classic. So he goes, this is how it is. Today's shit is tomorrow's classic. And it doesn't matter.
I'm not a huge Rob Zombie music fan.
I mean, I like
It's a good
Hellbilly
album.
Deluxe, but his
Hellbilly-
work with White Zombie is way better.
I don't think any of it sounds any different. Truth bomb.
Truth bomb.
But it's true. Again, Carpenter's movies, most of them bombed, and now they're considered classics. I mean, you guys think that The Thing is one of the greatest horror films. I've heard you say
No,
it.
we don't think. We know.
And the thing is, I won't say it's not a great movie, but you take a movie that was considered at its time a bomb, and now it is felt about that way. When
Halloween.
Halloween was released, it was a bomb
Halloween
until
3.
Halloween 3. So And all I hear now is like, oh, no one's gonna like these movies. They're not classics. Right now, there are 20-year-olds who or 30-year-olds who grew up on Rob Zombie's Halloween movies, and those are their favorite movies, their favorite Halloween movies, their favorite horror movies.
And that's fine.
And it's fine. Yeah, you don't have to get all fucking pissed off every time someone says I like this more than this. It's like cool, whatever. It doesn't change the way I feel about
I
Halloween.
mean, there's
Halloween,
no exactly.
yeah, the 1978 movie is my second favorite horror movie of all time. Rob Zombie's movie, maybe in the
I mean,
80s
do you
or the
remember what we
90s
did?
or the 100.
Do you remember what we did before the release of 2018? People were
What?
bitching. They're bitching about, oh, they're erasing everything. And you and I
Uh-huh.
took our Halloween. So there's the Halloween movies right there, just the one movie.
Exactly.
Everybody's bitching. It's still there. Halloween
It's
is a
still
cumulative
there.
adventure story now. So
Remember in 2018 where all of our copies of Halloween disappeared.
they just disappeared. No,
Yeah, like
just
everybody forgot them. Everybody lost
Yeah.
them, and it's like it's. I always go back to what Alan Moore said when they said, "What do you feel about what Hollywood's done to your comics?" He goes, "They haven't done shit to my comics. They're sitting on the shelf the way I left them."
Yep.
And that's the truth. That's how it is. Like it's a remake does not kill a movie. It does not kill a franchise. It does not. They're going to make another Halloween movie. They're going to make another Friday movie. They're going to make
They're gonna remake Halloween again.
yeah, they will.
They will after this current series. I don't think they're going to continue. This is just it's a hot take. They're not going to continue Halloween after Halloween Kills. They'll do another reboot, and I'm going to almost guarantee it'll be 2028, 50th anniversary, H50. Let's hit up the comments real fast if you guys don't mind. Seth, do you have anything in your mind right now?
We haven't heard from Jared in a bit.
I just burped. That was good.
I heard that.
I got nothing.
Okay, let's Keith, you want to do it?
Stephen Wallace said, "You're right on Trash to Treasure. Look at all the boutique labels releasing these god awful '80s B movies, and now we love them due to nostalgia. It's treasure now."
And Scream Factory made a bunch of money off of taking movies that the studios didn't respect and gave them proper releases because the fans fucking feverishly loved them, and the people who owned them don't even understand how much they're loved. When Monster Squad hit DVD, they had no idea how quick that was going to sell out. They couldn't keep it on shelves.
I got it right away.
Because everybody saw it on VHS. I saw it in the theaters. I was lucky enough to do that, but most people grew up on it, and the people who made it and the people who sold it had no idea.
I had it on a pre-recorded VHS, and it looked like ass.
Going back a little bit on these, it's Stephen Wallace again. He says if they kept the OG ending of him letting go and the lighting him up, it gives him more product of his environment. Him finally realizing he was wrong, the works, but no, there was something wrong with him, period. Given the ending we got. I can't read aloud. You go back to it.
Okay. I'll reread this comment, Stephen.
Cruel Jaws, yes, it's coming. Severin, thank you.
Yeah, I saw that the other day. He said if they kept the OG ending with Michael letting go of Laurie, and then the cops lighting him up, which gives him more of the product of his environment of why he's a killer. Him finally realizing he was wrong. That works, but no, there was something wrong with him. Period. Given the ending we got, I tried to read it a little differently.
That Michael understood that he was wrong.
I'm guessing. I don't fully get what you're trying to say, Stephen. I'm sorry. I tried to interpret it.
He says he's texting while working.
Oh,
okay. Talking text. Yeah, that
never worked.
You got Cruel Jaws going for you, brother. Vinegar Syndrome. I completely agree. Remakes don't erase the originals. No, and that's a problem that everybody has. I think. I didn't think that, but yeah, I that's a great conversation. The remakes do not erase. They're always going to be there. Choose whatever the fuck you want to watch.
Yeah, no one, like every October, there's still images of Bela Lugosi everywhere. Christopher Lee did not erase him. Gary Oldman did not erase him. He'll always be Dracula.
We need to erase Argento's Dracula. Whew. No, I'm joking. It's okay. A lot of boobs. How can you direct your daughter into boobs?
A lot of boobs.
Sean Stiff said, personally, I am waiting for the body jumping the hidden style entry into horror Halloween franchise. I don't
body jumping like the Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh yeah.
Kind of thing. I mean, if the shape is just a dark,
it would make more sense.
entering a vessel, it would make sense that would inflict. I mean, we'll get into that next week about the whole Thorn family ties kind of shit. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Why only Michael Myers?
But I bet you $100 if they did a movie where that happened, people would be pissed off.
Oh yeah, they'd be furious. I want Michael Myers. Well, there is no Michael Myers. Part of him died years ago.
They're like, what's
it's
the
just
shape?
A vessel.
Speaking of what Nate was saying,
but he always finds coveralls to wear. He always finds the same mask to wear.
So next week we're doing Halloween 2 versus 2018. We have the option of doing a show either this Thursday or next Thursday, and we can do because I wanted to, and I took it off the schedule because we stopped doing 2 nights a week. I want to talk about the Thorn trilogy, 4, 5, and 6. And would you guys want to do that either this Thursday or next Thursday?
It's up to you guys.
We can do it this Thursday, I guess.
It's for you, man. What would you say, Nate?
We can do it this Thursday, I guess.
Let's do it this Thursday. Who's in the mood for some Thorn? Jared's not.
4, 5, and 6. Really?
Hell yeah, man.
I want to do it because 4 and 5 are my least watched Halloween movies. I never got to watch them a lot growing up, and I like 6 more than those.
Well,
you're out of the group.
Yeah, I really like. I remember right around sometime 1986, I saw Halloween 2, and then eventually Halloween, and then right after that, 87, 88, I started hearing about Halloween 4, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait. And Nate and I have gushed. I think Seth also have gushed about the opening credits, how it just sets the tone for the entire movie, and it's a great sequel in my opinion. So I'm looking forward to talking about those. You guys want to do some final thoughts on the Halloween Rob Zombie movies? Let's start with Jared tonight.
I am still on the fence about part 2. I haven't seen it in a long time. I didn't really do my research tonight, so shame on my professors.
Did you ever see the director's cut?
Yeah, that's going to be my question.
Yeah, it's been a while though. Probably when the Halloween set came out, and I just really like the random characters that are replaying it because some of them do really good, some of them don't. I know we're on the fence about Malcolm McDowell. I honestly liked him in the first movie really, really, really fucking well. Like, obviously, the second one, he took a stray away and his intentions changed, but like, Malcolm McDowell's a fucking amazing actor.
Yeah,
Like,
he wanted some tea.
And fucking hot.
It's like, what is this? This is old Loomis. This is new Loomis. Old Loomis, 10% more sales.
I've read that book. It's a masterpiece.
And Tyler Mane does really good as him. Like, it's in your face and it's more fucked up than what we were expecting from a Halloween movie. But I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna say I would put it even in my top 5 or 6 of them, but and that doesn't take anything away from Rob Zombie as a director, because
I think Rob Zombie's a good director.
Honestly, his original scripts and movies are better to me, in my opinion.
I agree with that.
But is that just because it's not dealing with a franchise you already know and like?
Would you just let him talk?
I think so. That's a good question, though, Keith.
That's a good question. I'm just joking.
That's a good question. I think so. Like, I mean, and we've discussed, maybe he might need some assistance in, writing dialogue and, scripting and stuff. But I mean, the visuals he's able to obtain, like in, he's already a good director. He just may need some more direction and
He's got a great
writing.
fucking eye. Some people
He
say it's
does.
Just two.
He does.
Yeah,
Okay, pass it on.
All right, pass. We'll pass it on to Mr. Chatty Cathy over here, Keith.
So now we can. So now when we pass, we can just flip each other off. We'll pass the talking finger.
It's my turn to talking.
No, I mean I haven't watched them in a while. I mean the first Halloween remake was my first Halloween movie in the theaters, and I remember being, because my generation. But I was super excited to go see it in the theaters. I remember rewatching the original and watching two, and before we went and saw it, because I always do that when I go see a remake. I always watch the original or something. But I remember being excited to go see it, and it was super bloody and graphic, which I really liked as a kid that was like 11. But and yes, Ray, I watched the unrated cut when it came out, so I saw the rape scene when I was like 13,
No
just to
me
make you
gusta.
uncomfortable. And watch.
No me gusta.
That's your life.
But no, I like both of them. But after watching number two again last night, I think I like the unrated or the director's cut of number two more than the first one. I think I just like seeing the unraveling of Lori. Like I like.
Me too. That's one of the highlights of the movie is seeing
Yeah.
the
And the actress is really good. And
Yeah, she's
and I know people like that, like not like what she's gone through, but the way she acts in that, and like how she can't put her sentences together and stuff. And when she finds out she's Michael's sister, and she just goes to her friend's house, she's just like, I don't even care. I've been a good person my entire life, and look where it's gotten me. Like I just want to go party and not give a shit about anything anymore. Like I liked her arc as a character way more.
could imagine losing your parents at 17. Nate, some final thoughts? Hold on, Nate, is it your turn?
I was also gonna say we didn't mention Joe Grizzly Bitch.
I mentioned it.
For like a
Yeah, we
split
mentioned
second, his character's amazing.
Yeah.
Every time I watch the first movie, as soon as he climbs out of his truck, like that's the clean car, new paint, don't scratch it. Like I just have a big.
What did he say? What did he say? I got a burrito deluxe supreme that's talking back at me.
At me.
I love
Let
that.
me pass this beast in peace.
Pass this beast in peace.
Yeah, and that's how Ken. That's basically Ken.
He's a delight. Sorry,
that's
Nate.
basically that's basically who Ken is.
Yeah.
In reality.
He's a delight. I love that dude.
Yeah. I like them. I put them. I like these movies more than 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I like 2018 better than them, but I like them more than everything between 1988 and whatever Resurrection. So I put them somewhere in the middle. They probably fall into my top like 6 and 7, position 6 and 7 on my list.
Middle of the road.
Yeah.
I have no clue where they'd go in a list for me.
Well, you got to figure that out because we
I
have a ranking show coming up very soon.
That's after we've covered all the movies, right? I think.
I mean, there's some really cool stuff in them. There's some great soundtracks on them. I love the source music. I love the choice of Nights in White Satin during the hospital sequence. I love the opening. God of Thunder opening the first movie.
I like the cover at the end of the director's cut.
I love I love Hertz at the end of part 2, the director's cut. I love the visuals. The sequence where Lori finds Annie in the foyer and she's screaming to get is amazing. I like the swinging boyfriend with the jack-o'-lantern on his head. I mean, there's like a lot of cool ideas in there. I just think they're rich films. I don't think they're forgettable. Even if you fucking hate them, they're not. You don't look at them and go meh. You kind of go, I either hate this or hey, it's pretty cool. I like it.
That Halloween 2018 kind of took some pages out of Rob's book a little bit on that movie because
they took from all of them though.
I know there are like little Easter eggs here and there, like Halloween 3 masks are in 2018, but there's a couple things that when I was watching, I was like, that reminds me of 2018 a bit, and we're talking 11 years before. Did David Gordon Green and what's the other guy?
Danny McBride.
No, the baseball. Kenny Powers. Did they?
Yeah, Kenny Powers.
Know.
He had his face all over that.
I mean, I know they kind of probably cherry picked the series, but
There's
man,
something from everything. I mean, there's stuff from H2O. There's stuff from Part 4. There's stuff from Part 2. There's stuff from Part 3.
So you mean H20?
Greatest hits.
H2O, the water one.
I don't know. Seth.
Yeah, so I'm with Nate. I kind of like them. They're, as I said earlier in the show, they're not at the top of my list at all. They are towards the bottom. I think the only ones that I don't like, in comparison to these, would be like 5 and Resurrection, and then after that, I put the Rob Zombie movies. But I enjoy them for what they are. I don't look at it as a fanboy, thinking of this is supposed to be what Carpenter created. I kind of look at it as Rob Zombie did his own thing. And I just really appreciate the fact that he brought horror and intensity back to the franchise. Because it was getting a little stale and safe for a while.
Maybe not even back. He kind of brought it to the franchise more than brought it back because,
well, yeah. But like, I mean, even with like H2O and Resurrection, they felt very safe.
You're very Scream-esque, of course.
Yeah, like I didn't feel like any, like, the characters, you knew who were gonna survive, you knew who was gonna get killed off, and you just don't give a fuck. They're very vanilla. Where Rob Zombie, he makes, I mean, this is what kills me about it too. Like with the first one, the Strodes are very likable, and they're a very likable family, and they're like very clean. So he can tell stories of these type of characters.
Oh man,
not to do it.
I love their banter. It's so, like, I've had those conversations with my wife. Like, I don't want to go on vacation. I want to stay home. You know, that kind of thing. And hey, let's fool around. Like, we'll fool around after we talk about vacation. I mean, it's like, it was very real. It was very, very real, believable.
Will you take Mr. Bones' arms back?
Yeah. And like I felt something when they died, which I don't really have with many other characters in the franchise, but they're not my favorite. They're not ones I go to.
Let's be honest. Part of the reason was because it was Dee Wallace and she was a werewolf at the end of The Howling.
It's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
Because Dee Wallace,
my friend.
Well, Dee Wallace became America's sweetheart after like E.T. and shit. So yeah, she's just there's something lovable about Dee Wallace.
She just played that charismatic mom.
Rich in Lords of Salem. Go ahead, Seth. Sorry, just got to throw the werewolf curveball at you again.
Yeah. So I forgot.
I was so excited I spit all over my computer and I was like, "You just like it because she's a werewolf."
They're not ones that I watch a lot. When I'm in the mood for Halloween, I'll go back to 1, 2, 4, 6 in 2018. But I don't have a huge problem with them. But I mean, who the fuck am I? I put Final Chapter above Jason Lives, so take that as you will.
You and everybody else, right?
Part 3. We never did our Friday the 13th ranking show, did we?
Bummer.
We'll do that.
I thought we were waiting until November because
we were waiting for the box set.
There is no. We're not waiting for you're waiting for the box set.
That's what you told us. I could have sworn.
No, that's not what I said. There's a Friday the 13th in November. Can we do the show on that Friday? That was my question. Now, can we wait for the box set so Keith can, watch the box set? Okay. So this is our Rob Zombie Halloween episode. I'll follow up by saying I don't like these movies all that much. I get it. I get why people would like them. But in going back to ranking them, I think I would put 2 ahead of 07 and ahead of Resurrection. Maybe even H2O. I actually think I hate H2O more than any of them. And I'll explain that when we get to that episode. Because I really don't like H2O almost like at all. I was pissed off when I left the theater for Halloween 07, but H2O I walked, I was like, what the fuck was that? And then of course with Resurrection, I was like, well, that was a Halloween movie. Because the H2O softened the blow for Resurrection. So anyway, so join us Thursday as we talk about The Curse of the Thorn, right? Who's ready? We'll put some rocks out. Maybe we'll trap a Michael Myers. Producer, that's better than the theatrical cut.
Rocks out.
So thanks everybody for joining. We had a lot of great comments. A lot of people watching. Appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to the Horror Syndicate on YouTube. Hey, this October, tell your friends about the Horror Syndicate. Have them like the page. You can invite them to the page. We're going to have a lot of fun. I think I'm going to give away some t-shirts with the logo. Not this shit, with the Horror Syndicate logo on it. Don't worry. I'll put pictures up. Nathan's going to wear his and kind of do a little dance.
Make a little love.
Going to get down tonight, literally.
Get down tonight.
So stick with us. We've got a new bracket coming up, Sequelathon Part 2. It's coming next week. We've got 31 days of horror where I'm going to try to watch 70 movies in October. 70...
I'm going to try to make one.
What? And you're going to... What?
And I'm going to try to make one.
Oh, I thought you said you're going to try to make porn. I'm like, really? Is your movie going that bad? I thought it was going good.
Yeah, I got to add some titties or something.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what puts asses in the seats. Anyway, thanks for joining us this evening. Had a lot of fun. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. Remember, follow us everywhere, and we will appreciate it. All you lovely good people. Have a good evening. We'll see you on Thursday.